CBS The Bold and the Beautiful. Liam's shocking discovery. Deke is his brother. The latest turn of events in The Bold and the Beautiful has sent shockwaves through fans and characters alike. It all began with a tragic car accident involving Deke, the newest addition to Forrester Creations. Deke, quiet but talented, had recently been assigned to a project with Hope Logan. The two had started forming a close bond, not romantic, but layered with mutual respect and potential. No one expected the accident. No one expected what would follow. Deke's car was found flipped near Mulholland Drive late one evening, and paramedics rushed him to the nearest hospital. He had suffered multiple internal injuries, and more alarmingly, was losing blood rapidly. As he lay unconscious, with his life hanging by a thread, hospital staff scrambled to stabilize him. But the situation became dire when they discovered the blood bank didn't have enough of his blood type in supply, an extremely rare match. Doctors were forced to reach out to anyone listed in his emergency contacts. That's when Hope received the call. Her name was the only one on his phone, and although she was not technically family, she didn't hesitate. Rushing to the hospital, Hope found herself in the middle of an emotional whirlwind. Seeing Deke pale and unconscious on a hospital bed shook her more than she expected. She had only known him a short while, but something about his quiet kindness had already earned her trust. As Hope waited for updates, Liam Spencer arrived. Hope had called him in a panic. Although their relationship had its complications, Liam still cared about Hope deeply. And when he heard Deke was fighting for his life, something unexpected happened. An instinct, a gut feeling Liam couldn't shake. The moment he heard about the rare blood type, he told the doctors to test him. As fate would have it, Liam was a perfect match. Liam donated immediately, without hesitation. The transfusion saved Deke's life. But what began as an act of kindness unearthed something deeper. Liam couldn't stop thinking about how rare the blood type was and how he and Deke shared it. He knew this wasn't common. Something about Deke had always seemed oddly familiar. His posture, his expressions, even his voice carried a strange echo of someone Liam knew. Or perhaps someone he was connected to. As Deke recovered, unconscious but stable, Liam started digging. He asked questions. Quiet ones. Unofficial ones. He started with what little background Deke had provided to Forrester HR. There wasn't much. A foster system past. No known family. He had grown up mostly alone, with a history full of gaps. Liam couldn't let it go. It tugged at him, something primal, something more than coincidence. That's when Liam started asking questions about Bill Spencer, his own father. A man with a long history of secrets, affairs, and power plays. Over the years, Liam had discovered more than once that Bill wasn't exactly transparent about his past. And this time, Liam remembered something, an offhand remark Bill had made years ago about a woman he'd once known in Seattle. She had disappeared, pregnant, and Bill had never heard from her again. It was a stretch, but Liam was no stranger to twists of fate. He requested a DNA test, done discreetly. He didn't even tell Hope. If he was wrong, he'd let it go. But if he was right, the truth would change everything. Days passed. Deke slowly regained consciousness, unaware of the storm building around him. Hope was often at his side. She felt a strange protectiveness over him, more than professional concern. She didn't understand it, but she couldn't deny it. When Deke opened his eyes and saw her there, his gratitude was palpable. He had no idea Liam had donated the blood that saved him, but Liam wasn't interested in praise. He was waiting for one thing: the results. When the DNA results arrived, Liam could barely bring himself to read them. But when he did, the confirmation was undeniable. Deke was his brother. The news hit Liam like a punch to the chest. He staggered. Everything blurred. Questions exploded in his mind. How? Why didn't Bill know? Or did he know and kept it buried? Had Dick grown up believing he was alone when, in fact, he had family? Real family. A brother. Liam didn't tell anyone immediately. He needed to think. He needed to process. Watching Dick and Hope talk, seeing the easy connection they were building, twisted something inside him. This wasn't just about blood. This was about legacy, about lies, about choices made decades ago that were now crashing into the present. Liam confronted Bill in private. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. He simply placed the DNA results on the table and asked, "What do you know about Dick?" Bill, for once, didn't have a ready answer. He stared at the paper, silent. His jaw clenched. Then he looked Liam in the eye and said, "I didn't know. I swear to you, I didn't know." But Liam didn't believe him, not entirely. Bill had lied before, covered things up to protect his empire. Was this another secret he thought he could bury? Or was it true? Had he fathered a son and truly never known? Liam told Hope next. She was stunned. At first, she thought it was a joke. Then she sat down and just said, "Oh my God." She looked at Dick differently after that, more gently, more cautiously. She didn't tell him, "Lo." That wasn't her place. Liam needed to decide how to tell his brother the truth. But time was running out. Dick's recovery was slow, but steady. He started asking questions. Why was Liam visiting him so often? Why had he donated blood without hesitation? Why was Hope acting strange? Eventually, the truth came out, but not the way Liam had hoped. Dick overheard two nurses talking about the transfusion, about the DNA test, about the match. He cornered Liam in the hospital corridor, voice low but fierce. "What did you find out?" Liam didn't lie. "You're my brother." Dick froze. He didn't move, didn't blink, just stared at Liam like the world had stopped spinning. Then, without a word, he walked away. Hope tried to follow him, but Liam stopped her. "Let him breathe," he said. "He's spent his whole life thinking he was alone, and now he's not." That's not easy to take in. Over the following days, Dick kept his distance. He returned to Forrester, but there was a new wall around him. Even with Hope, especially with Liam, he didn't know how to feel. Angry, betrayed, relieved, all of the above. Meanwhile, Bill hired a private investigator. If he truly had a son he never knew about, he needed to understand the full story. The investigator uncovered hospital records, birth certificates, old addresses. The pieces began to fall into place. The woman Bill had been with, Mariah Jameson, had checked into a hospital under a different name, given birth, entered the foster system paperwork under sealed adoption. Bill had been lied to, but the consequences were real. And now, so was Dick. As the truth unraveled, So did the lives around it. Hope was caught in the middle supporting both men, but unsure what their bond meant for her. She'd grown close to Dick, but not romantically. And yet, now that he was Liam's brother, everything felt different, more delicate. Liam wrestled with resentment. His father had robbed him of a sibling. Dick had grown up without the chances Liam had. The guilt burned in him. But Dick wasn't interested in pity. He just wanted to understand who he was now. A Forrester employee, a survivor, a brother, and possibly someone with a claim to the Spencer legacy. The drama is only just beginning. How will Liam and Dick find common ground after a lifetime apart? Can they overcome the bitterness of their father's sins? And how will this impact the balance of power at Forrester and Spencer Publications? Dick's past may have been lonely, but his future is now tangled in a web of family, loyalty, betrayal, and long-buried secrets. And in the world of the bold and the beautiful, no truth stays quiet for long. Liam stood frozen in his living room, the DNA report clenched in his hands. The paper confirmed what his instincts had been screaming for days. Dick was his brother, his half-brother. The truth rattled him. Every interaction with Dick replayed in his mind with new meaning. That quiet confidence, that underlying familiarity, the way they had connected without trying. It wasn't chance. It was blood. Without hesitation, Liam stormed out and headed straight to his father's office. He didn't call ahead. He didn't care if Bill was busy. This couldn't wait. Bill Spencer was behind his desk, mid-call, barking orders, when Liam burst through the door. The sheer look on Liam's face stopped him cold. "You lied to me," Liam snapped, slamming the DNA envelope onto the desk. Bill glanced down, confused for a split second, but when he saw the name Dick on the report, his face dropped. His voice fell quiet. "Is this some kind of, 'He's my brother,'" Liam said, cutting him off. "That makes him your son." Silence. Bill stared at the report, then at Liam. His chest rose and fell as the weight of the truth hit him full force. For a long moment, neither said a word. Then, suddenly, Bill's face crumbled. He sat back in his chair like someone had knocked the air out of him. "I didn't know," he whispered. "I swear to God, Liam, I didn't know." Liam didn't blink. "Then explain it. Explain how you have a son in this city bleeding out on a hospital bed while you're sitting here pretending your past is clean." Bill swallowed hard. His voice was low, almost broken. "It was a long time ago. I was in San Diego for a conference years before I even met your mother. I met a woman. One night. I don't even remember her name. We didn't exchange anything. It was just one of those nights. I was young, stupid, reckless." Liam's stare didn't soften. "She came back, didn't she?" Bill nodded slowly, pain creeping into his expression. 6 months later, she tracked me down. Said she was pregnant. She was angry, demanding. I didn't believe her. Or maybe I didn't want to believe her. I had just started building Spencer Publications into something real. I told her to leave. I told her she was lying. His voice cracked. And she did. She disappeared. I never saw her again. Liam's voice was cold. You turned her away. I was a different man back then, Bill said, almost pleading. A worse man. I didn't even check if it was true. I just pushed her out. I forgot about it. until now. The weight of what he'd done caught up to him in that moment. Bill Spencer, the man known for his pride, power, and stone-like heart, broke down in front of his son. His eyes brimmed with tears he didn't try to hide. "I have another son," he said softly, like the words were too heavy to carry. "And I threw him away before he was even born." Liam stood still, jaw tight, emotions warring in his chest. Anger, pity, confusion. But beneath it all, urgency. "He's in the hospital right now," Liam said. "He almost died. He didn't have anyone. No one except hope. No family. No history. And all this time, you were right here. He deserved better." Without another word, Liam turned and left. Bill didn't hesitate. Within minutes, he was in his car, heading straight to the hospital. His mind spun with memories, regrets, and the image of a son he had never known, someone who had lived his entire life thinking no one wanted him. Bill had to see him. Even if Dick hated him, even if it was too late, he had to show up now. He had to be the father he wasn't before. When he arrived, Dick was awake, but weak. His skin was pale, his breath shallow, and the monitors beeped steadily next to him. Hope was by his side, reading quietly, when Bill walked in. Hope looked up, confused. "Bill, what are you doing here?" Bill didn't answer. His eyes were locked on Deke. He looked at the young man and saw pieces of himself, his eyes, his jawline, that defiant look even in vulnerability. A mirror of what could have been, if he hadn't pushed it all away. "I need a moment," Bill said. Hope stood slowly and nodded. She stepped out of the room, leaving Bill alone with his son. Dick looked at him, confused. "You're Liam's dad, right?" Bill nodded slowly, voice low. "I'm yours too." Dick didn't speak. He just stared at him, lips slightly parted, disbelief settling in like ice water. "I didn't know," Bill said, walking closer to the bed. "I didn't know you existed. Not until now. And when I found out, I can't tell you how much I regret what I did. What I didn't do." Deke's voice was hoarse. "Why are you here?" "Because I should have been here a long time ago," Bill said. "And I will be now. If you let me." Dick turned away. It was too much. Too fast. He didn't know how to feel: grateful, angry, overwhelmed. This man was the reason he'd grown up without a father. And yet, he had come. He had showed up. And it didn't have the strength to fight him right now. Bill stayed by his side all night. But not everyone was willing to forgive. When Katie Logan found out what had happened, when she learned that Bill had fathered another child from a one-night stand, that he had pushed the woman away and denied her, she was livid. Katie stormed into Bill's office the next morning. "You knew something like this could happen," she yelled, slamming the door behind her. "And you didn't even think to tell me. You've been keeping this secret, and now you're playing devoted father like none of it matters." Bill tried to explain, but Katie was beyond reason. "You didn't even give that woman a chance. You threw her away, like she was nothing. And now what? You want us to applaud you for showing up 20-something years later, with tears in your eyes? Are you serious?" Bill's voice was rough. "I'm trying to make it right." "You don't get to make it right, Bill," Katie shot back. "This isn't a company deal you can renegotiate. This is a person, a son, a life you ignored." Bill stepped forward. He's my son. And what about our son? Katie demanded. What about Will? What do you think he's going to say when he finds out that his father keeps popping out siblings from past mistakes like it's no big deal? Bill's shoulders dropped. I'll tell him everything when the time is right. Katie wasn't satisfied. You always think you can control the damage, but some things don't get fixed, Bill. Some things just break. And this might be one of them. With that, she left, slamming the door behind her. The fallout had begun. Liam was now caught between two families. Hope tried to be supportive, but the tension was growing. Deke was adjusting, but cautiously. Bill was doing everything he could to earn back trust from Deke, from Liam, from Katie, but for once, his power couldn't buy him a clean slate. The truth was out. Dick Spencer had arrived, and nothing in Los Angeles would ever be the same.